Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Penn State's 2025 Workforce Education, Development and Organization Development and Change Conference hosted by the Workforce Education and Development Program at the Pennsylvania State University. This is an event sponsored by the Penn State College of Education, Penn State Office of Provost for Educational Equity, and Penn State University Park Allocation Committee. My name is Masha Ruimel. I'm a doctorate student in the Workforce Education and Development Program at Penn State. I will be moderating today's session alongside with my colleague James Byrne, who is also a doctorate student in the same program. We are excited to engage with you using the features of the Zoom platform. At the end of this presentation, there will be a Q&A session. If you want the presenter to address your question, please type into the Q&A box. If you encounter any technical issue during the webinar, please let us know using the chat box. Our online Master of Professional Studies in Organization Development and Change is designed for professionals who want to gain the skills of knowledge necessary to lead organizational change effectively. Additionally, we offer a residential PhD program in workforce education and development. Since 2021, we have established this biannual free conference featuring experts from around the globe. Today, we are excited to present The Future of Work and the Workforce Explained by Explainable Artificial Intelligence by Dr. Yu-Ling Yang. For a detailed overview of our speakers' achievements and contributions, please feel free to visit the conference website. You will find links and additional information about our esteemed speaker there. Now, without further ado, please join me in welcoming our speaker today, Dr. Yu-Ling Chang. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Masha. Can everyone hear me okay here? Great. All right, great. Good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I would like to thank you for being here. I'm Dr. Abby Chang, connecting from Taiwan. So good morning to you, but good evening to me. I feel very honored to have this opportunity to share my research with you using this XAI in predicting the future of work and the workforce by the year 2031. And just to introduce a little bit about me, that I obtained my PhD degree in Workforce Education and Development Program from the Penn State University in 2023. And currently, I am an assistant professor in International Human Resource Development Program at the National Taiwan Normal University. My research focuses on people analytics and artificial intelligence application in advanced the field of AHRD and OD. The research that I'm going to share today won both the ATD and AHRD dissertation awards of the year. So speaking of AI, I believe many of you are using it, and even on a daily basis, I guess. So what's your vision of the future of work with artificial intelligence? I have 4 options here. So option 1, working with AI side by side as a coworker. And option 2, telling AI what to do and oversee its work while having a nice cup of coffee. Or option 3, having AI sit on the same table and engage in their collective decision making. Option 4, losing all of our jobs to AI. Or option 5, feel free to share any possibility that you envision. So I want to open for a poll here. So in your, I think the bottom of the bar that you do have the checkbox feature that you can type in your option of your choice. So option 1, AI as a coworker. Option 2, AI as an assistant or agent. Option 3, AI as a partner, or option 4, AI as a replacement, Or option 5, feel free to, elucidate your creativity and let us know. Great. Thank you, Missy. All depending on the job. AI is a junior. Great. Combination of all the above. Great. 2 for now. Only for now. Yeah, I hear you. All 4, okay? 2 and 3. All right, seems like we kind of, yeah, similar vision and at the same time a little bit diverse in our option. And let's see how the scholars in the researchers in the future of work studies, their vision is about, or previous study, what they do. So actually, many scholars in the field took the most pessimistic view of the angle in the study in future of work with AI. So one of the most famous study conducted by the Oxford researchers contend that only over 47% of the human jobs today will be replaced by AI. So option 4. The research received over 16K citations, so it's very famous research, and it became mainstream nowadays in studying the future of work. However, understanding the future of work due such deductive lens having a major philosophical problem. So which is the future of human jobs are just the leftovers from AI? So the problem is this research that many answer what will not in the future of work replaced by AI, but it cannot actually fully provide us a holistic picture of what the true future of work will look like. Moreover, in that particular study, although the researchers used the machine learning technique, advanced statistical techniques to conduct the prediction. The machine learning method they use, especially those complicated one like deep neural networks, has an inherent flaw, which we call it black box problem. That is, the data went in the black box and there came out the results automatically without being able to explain how AI constitutes its decision. So it can lead to a merely garbage in and garbage out problem, or we are unable to detect any problems stay within the black box. And of course, you can use some simpler model like those linear or tree-based models, but the accuracy may not as promising as deep neural networks. And the current research addresses these two problems, the philosophical one and also methodological problem, by using this XAI technique, or more specifically, the interpretable machine learning to envision the future of work and the workforce. Not only explain those are losing, but also we explain those are rising by the year of 2031. The study design is to use XAI to model the data from ONET database to explain the future 10-year employment forecast from Bureau of Labor Statistics. If you are familiar with the ONET database, you should know that it provides a comprehensive data for all available occupation in the United States regarding the tasks performed in each occupation and what skills, knowledge, abilities are required for each occupation. It often used in workforce planning, job analysis, and also talent development research. And after the modeling, XAI will generate the combinations of different set of the tasks, KSAs and KSAOs, and to describe those jobs will be rapidly increasing or decreasing in the next 10 years. And as mentioned earlier, XAI is a range of different techniques that addresses AI's don't know how I know the problem. And the specific technique that I use in this research is called the mixture of linear models called supervised by deep neural networks, MLM. The process of this method is to first train a deep neural network model and then code it with the clusters and linear models stay within for each identified clusters. In the context of our future of work study, The MLM finds the clusters of different combinations of the O-net variables to explain the future trend of the employment. And the clusters are the archetypes that we say in this study, we call in this study as will be rapid growing or decreasing by the year 2031. As for the study findings, first, the fastest growing work and worker archetypes account for about 25% of the entire projected employment in 2031. And those fastest decline account for about 15%. So this challenged the OECD research for overstating 47% job loss to AI. So here we plot out these work archetypes growth growing or decreasing rate. And also we can find out that there are 10 work archetypes that are rapidly increasing, while 6 are rapidly decreasing. And these archetypes are explained by the O-net variables with weighted combinations and their accordant growth and decrease rates, as well as the number of employment concerned with those archetypes. As visualized here, the 10 rapidest growing archetypes are those we label as creatives, sages, wizards, supporters, nurturers, caregivers, and explorers, hands-on, data scientists, and frontliners. It seems a lot, but yeah, based on what we identify these work archetypes and what these archetypes focus on and how they execute the process to deliver the work outcomes, we can put them into this 9-grid matrix and see a distinct pattern. So as you can see in the red box, for those rapidly decreasing, we see that they all fall in the box where the tasks are delivered by doing, and the focus of their direct work outcome are objects like processes, documents, equipment, and machinery. As for the worker archetypes, the study also identified 8 fastest growing and 4 fastest decreasing archetypes. Again, these worker archetypes also are explained by the O-net variables, including the degree of different KSAOs required. And we can see it here for those rapidest growing worker archetypes, they all require a hybrid or extended talent like both technology and strategic thinking, engineering and design, tech, and also leadership, and so on. Finally, let's revisit what our pre-assumption regarding the future of work still hold true. So in the literature review, we have the assumption, for example, for those we do better than AI, such as like tasks requiring higher cognitive skills will be the future of work for human. However, actually, as we identify the decreasing archetypes, these are decreasing. And also similarly for the assumption that the future of work lies in the human-machine collaboration, that we work with computer together, we work with machine together. Also particularly in jobs, it's focused on the doing and also on object-related tasks. So these are also fell into the box of the decreasing work archetypes. So finally, only assumption that still hold true is agility, which is the ability that continuously expand our knowledge and skills, adapt to the rapid evolving work environment. Other than that, this study also provides some reflection on the previous mentioned Oxford study, which assumed that few certain work variables has a linear relationship with the future employment. However, as you can see here, for each particular knowledge or skills or ability, actually their effect for different work archetypes can vary different. So just taking an example, like skills of negotiation and persuasion and social perceptiveness here are not equally important to all occupations here. So the original assumption of a previous study cannot be true or oversimplified as with our study findings. Finally, we also encourage the use of explainable AI rather than the black box AI models for important decisions. That accuracy is not the only consideration. So especially in our field, human resource and organizational studies, we have people at our core. So we should prioritize transparency in the decision making and also having human in the loop to monitor and evaluate AI instead of just blindly rely on it. However, we also recognize that there are limitations for the current study, and including geography and also time dimension that we can use to forecast the number. So the data that we use is only database and also BLS data towards the forecast of 2031. So we recommend that a continual research update for the data, and we can continually track and also capture the newest trend in the future of work. We also encourage research around the world to duplicate our efforts with the endogenous data and for the local inferences. So for the summary, I believe that this study has its implications across all spectrum of HRD. So in HRD, we have these four legs, right? So career development as CD, talent development TD, and organization development as OD. And finally, for the broadest study is workforce development and national HRD, we call NHRD. So as you can see, previous study results, we actually have the table for all different work and worker archetypes with the set of different combination of the KSOs and also the tasks. So these profiles will be very important or informative for individuals, career counselors, coaches, and even CD professionals for doing career planning, education pursuits, and also the service providing. As for TD, that we also can use this profile to identify as assessment to identify skill gaps and upskill and reskill their employees, or redesign the job requirement, the job roles, and develop the hybrid talent in their organizations. And for organization development, we believe, as I just mentioned, that all this profile as a list of the future-oriented requires skills, knowledge, abilities. This can turn out to be an outcome as an assessment tool that for future readiness for organization. So they can use it to assess their current workforce if there is any like deviant from their current skill sets towards those future requirements, then this can be a gap analysis as a needs assessment tool. And this will be also informative for workforce planning, strategies, organization development, and change management. And these efforts, if we apply it even beyond organization to a national level, then this will be useful for our national HRD and HRD. So for the entire nation's workforce planning, economic development, education systems, and policies, such as the Career Technical Education CTE, which is also one of the focus in our workforce education development program, and to reduce the education demand supply mismatch. So this concludes my presentation today, and we do have time for discussion for our future question, or if there is any like not that clear about my previous presentation slides, I can revisit it again.
Thank you, Yu-Ling, for your presentation. We have several questions. One of the question is, where do you see the future of education in higher institution with reference to your research and job disappearance?
Thank you for that question. Yeah, I do like that question as I'm now also serving in higher education. And I do see this trend and also to see this need, which is as the hybrid talent that I just mentioned in my previous slides. So let me code it out. So as for the future of workforce, this worker archetypes, this profile, as you can see here. So the first one that grow the fastest, which is the strategic tech workers. So you do see that for those technological or technical expertise, they need to also learn something like for strategic thinking skills, allowing them to help the organization navigate these technological changes and opportunities. So and also the other example, like the workers of technology engineering design. So both technology engineering and design thinking are important for such worker archetypes, and also technology-driven leadership. So technology expertise as long as the leadership and management together. So this cross-area, cross-field, or cross-discipline study and is important. So as I said that in higher education, I do encourage, and also I see the trend that even in our university, we provide a program that having this overarching program that having students to building their skill set not only in the technical part, but also for their soft skill as well. And it would be very important to cultivate the talent that really required for the future, really required for our industry needs.
Okay, Dr. Yuling, that is another question. We have here about your research. How can we make sure that predictions made by AI about jobs and workers are accurate and understandable for everyday people?
Right. So I would say that so as I suggest, and it's also one of the limitation of our current study is we only use the data that is the prediction from BOS tool 2031. And actually every year they publish the data for the next 10 years, the next 10 years. So actually I'm currently also working on a grant project, which is founded to keep tracking all this trend year by year so that we can do the comparison and actually having tracking all these trends variation or change in every year, and then we can adjust our original prediction if there is any change, because as probably all of you can agree or having the feeling of it that things are changing so fast like ever before in our current world that we are operating. So it's really important to continue research, continue studying, continue observing what's happening outside the world, and also involve them, adapt them into our prediction in the future of work, and how we can validate them, how we can examine them. I think, yeah, it will really depends on our continuous effort in continuing research on this study on that. And it's the method that we propose using XAI in order to better explain this prediction. And maybe in the future, there will be also more innovation in methodologies, and then we can also adapt into it and using the more advanced techniques or analysis techniques that can provide a better, accurate prediction for us. It's hard to predict the future of work, right? Although we all want to know it.
Thank you for that answer. The next question is, which type of jobs will become more popular and which ones will decline significantly by 2031, according to your AI research?
Right, great question. So these work archetypes are identified. So for the blue ones, those are rapidly increasing. The employment growth rate is over 8%. So these are considered the future of work in this study. And then for those having the minus those growth rate less than 0. So these are identified as the fastest decreasing work archetypes. And we can see the comparison here. So the labels actually is based on the combination of different tasks in this particular cluster. So as you can see here, so for the creatives, those performing, influencing, communicating, inspiring people, and also through the self-expression and presenting their appealing products to the world. So this is labeled as creatives. So this creative job, it will be more promising, growing in the future by 2031 based on the prediction that we have here. And then the second archetypes are labeled as SAGE, basically work on the knowledge creation. And for wizards, those are applying those knowledge and skills techniques into some applied or real world. So as you can see, if you have the detailed description, you can know what kind of tasks they are performing, executing in those work archetypes. And the supporters, nurturers, and caregivers, those are people-oriented jobs here. And the explorers also, they explore the new knowledge and science and so on, the hands-ons and also data scientists and frontliners. These are the fastest future, those promising jobs in the future. And for those decreasing, as you can see lying out here, those technical process assembling and also the production jobs are decreasing, and operationals, and also for here craftsmanship, process control, and for technical service of the jobs, and also for administration. So as you can see here, for those decreasing here identified, so most of them are either technical or administrative or operational here. And as I shared that if we want to do such comparison with our night grid group area here, so the x-axis is actually the objects, like what this task, what this combination of tasks in this work they are working for, they are focused on to deliver their outcome, and also how they deliver the outcome, the processes. So I divided into like the focus on objects like machine, document, material, processes, and concepts like knowledge, and also people. If their work actually immediately, the direct outcome is focused on people. And for the processes, so how they're gonna do the job is a doing job, maybe doing manually by hand or heavy lifting physically, or the thinking job is focusing on the knowledge creation or producing advancing ideas, and also feeling job, which provide more like psychological support and other outcomes, those feeling job or needing some empathetic skills and so on. So with this grids, we can see those decreasing job having a pattern. So there's a feature or the key characteristics which they all fall into the spots where their direct focus, their outcome directly focused on objects. So maybe operating machines or administrating process or materials, documents, and so on. And these are the doing job. So this is kind of a very distinct or key feature for those decreasing. And as you can see here, actually for those increasing, they're kind of actually quite spread out in this night grid. However, we can see one pattern is here. So often actually, if you're looking at the x-axis, they all focus on people. So their direct outcome is actually serving people, even though maybe for the creatives, for the data scientists, we seeing like promising because they are using a lot of brain resources, but not only like that. So even for those doing job like caregivers, hands-on supporters, because their direct outcome is for serving people, they all fall into this future oriented or in the will be promising in the future next 10 years grids. But there is a notion that we need to know about this because this data forecasted by BLS is starting from 2021 towards 2031. And if you remember what happened before 2021, people experienced the pandemic, right? So this data actually also reflecting some rebounds from the pandemic. So that's why they forecast more requirement for the frontliners or supporters and caregivers and so on. So this is something that we need to take care that for this result is kind of for just a snapshot at the time for the BOS prediction. However, continual research, as I suggest, will be needed for keeping adjusting this forecasting result and validating that.
Thank you for the comprehensive explanation. We have several more questions. Another question is, do you think that ONET will be a good source to research from? I feel like it is already lagging behind the times. They don't have a single of the new AI jobs yet.
Thank you. Yeah, that is a very good question. This is actually one of the limitation of this study. So we choose these two data set, one from ONET and another Y variable from BLS. And for these two data set selection, actually one good thing about them because they are most authoritative. They are from the Ministry of the Labor, providing all this data. So the reliability is something that we consider. However, we also lost that, as you said, that is kind of lagging or behind because the method they collect this data is using survey, and finally they published all this data is aggregated results out of these surveys. So it's not the real world raw data, first of all, and also if you can collect the data more dynamically directly from like the job posting website, like LinkedIn and so on, maybe it can provide more insights, more up-to-date insights, but it won't be that much standardized or well categorized, organized by the organization or some authoritative organization like this. So there are some pros and cons, and I think definitely we can try to leverage different source of data set to make the result more relevant.
Okay, thank you for answering that question as well. The next question is, how can organizations practically use insights from explainable AI to prepare their workforce for the future?
Thank you. Right. So as I share for the implication part, so for this particular study, we categorize or identify those archetypes that will be promising in the future, which we consider as the future of work and the future of workforce, right? So in here is a kind of snapshot for the future of the workforce, the workers. So the professional who possess both technical expertise and so on, right? So it's just a general introduction of what this label defines, but actually in the study result, we do have more comprehensive outlines. For example, like this, how these variables weighted, how this variable being important to this job or worker archetype here. And we can use this as a profiler for the future of work, future-oriented worker archetypes, worker profile. and then use it to transform it into a assessment format and try to understand our current employee level of this after this expertise in this dimension, in this area, and seeing if there is a gap to fill in, then we can devote our TD, HRD efforts, interventions trying to fill the gap.
Thank you. And there is a last question. Since technology and job roles keep evolving, how frequently should we update studies on AI predictions to keep them useful for workers and employees?
So I don't have, thank you for the question. It's a really good question. I also keep thinking about it. So, right, I don't have like the magic number, like how often we should update it, but as the data availability from this standpoint, that as I said, that for BLS every year actually they update the next 10-year for prediction. So it will be also can be informed on how often that we trying to predict this again and validate our previous prediction and see if there is any adjustment that we need to do. So annually, at least there is new data available, then we can keep using the new data to try to renew our prediction, update our prediction. So just from the data availability standpoint perspective, then yeah, yearly is feasible. And I think it will be a good time period for us to adjusting it and revisit and revalidate it.
Okay, another question came in. In your opinion, what are the most critical skills higher education faculty must develop to remain relevant in an AI-driven academic landscape?
Right, let's see if in our worker or work archetypes we have some faculty related archetype. Let's see, right. So in the worker archetype, seems like there are some technology and business oriented jobs, and also the healthcare empathetic leaders. So yeah, so just speaking from the worker archetypes that will be increasing in the future and how it will reflect on the skill set for the faculty. So I think first of all, the technology literacy will be important, right? So the first three, we do touch the base of technological, technical related skills and ability and so on. And at the same time, the business acumen, like the strategic thinking, design thinking, and the leadership and management is also remain very important, things like that. And later, the people component comes out, right? So the service oriented and also for the social change and for the empathetic, like being empathic with people. These are the soft skill, and also I think for the feeling job that we just mentioned that will be also remain very important towards 2031. And the other behind after that, we do see these analytical skills or knowledge is also important. So this is from our future worker archetypes. And if we go back to see the future of work archetype, which is composed by different tasks, and we can see what is important, maybe can also integrate it into faculty job. So the creatives, I think it's also very directly linked to our faculty responsibility. So creating the new knowledge and how to express it, how to communicate it in an innovative way, creative way is also one thing. And the sages definitely is faculty, right? We can see the knowledge creation is basically our core, our work, our job. So things like, yeah, in higher education, not mentioning about like the reducing birth rate and so on. But for the task, focusing on what we do only, then still we are considered to be increasing required in the future of work. But maybe the environment can be different. So doing the same thing, but maybe not in the higher education institution, maybe in some other R&D institution or even in the industry is possible, because here we only explain what they do in the job.
Okay, thank you, Professor. We don't have any questions left. Thank you so much, Dr. Yu-Ling, and thank you everyone for joining us today. On behalf of Workforce Education, Organization Development and Change Conference organizers, we hope you enjoyed this session. If we didn't answer your questions, please feel free to email us or contact the presenter directly. We would love to hear your feedback on today's webinar, so please take a moment to complete the survey using the link in the chat box, and also you can scan the QR code which you are seeing now on the screen. Also, we are delighted to extend a special invitation to all of you for our next Workforce Education, Organization Development and Change Professional Development Network webinar series. Since 2020, we have been offering free monthly webinars with extraordinary speakers. You will find more information in our website. Please find the link in the chat. Remember, registration for all our events is completely free and can be found on our website. We want to make sure everyone has the opportunity to join us. You can also stay updated by following us on our social media platform, including Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Thank you again for joining us today. We hope to see you soon. Have a great day and good night to the rest of our guests in other time zones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.